GM just revealed their fully electric Hummer slated for a 2021 release, and this super truck is fully loaded. Comes in though at a price point of $112,000. As a car and EV enthusiast, I'm quite excited. As a potential investor, well, you'll just have to keep watching to see what I think this means for GM stock and whether it's worth taking a look at. Stay tuned. Hey folks, Richard Wallace here, helping you with career development and personal finance. If at the end of this video you decide you like what you see and you want to see more of it, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below along with the notification bell so you get updates of when I post new content. And while you're down there, you might as well go ahead and hit that like button. It helps out my channel quite a bit. So with that said, let's get to it. GM has seen its stock rebound quite impressively since the beginning of the year when the illness hit and they saw a decline. They've climbed up quite a bit, and a lot of what we've seen more recently are headlines around the investments they've been making with manufacturing here in the US, as well as their developments in EVs. Included in this is a $2 billion investment in their Tennessee assembly plant where they will end up manufacturing the fully electric Cadillac Lyriq SUV. The fully electric Hummer is a statement piece by GM to show the market that they are fully invested in electric vehicles in what I consider to be an ironic twist of fate, because the Hummers of the 2000s were notorious for being one of the biggest gas guzzlers in the industry. So kudos to GM for making this splash with this brand in particular. But what does it really mean financially for GM, and more importantly for investors? What does it mean for their stock price? Following the announcement, we did see a slight uptick in the stock price, but I don't expect it to go really much further than that, at least not for the reason of having an electric Hummer, and here's why. The MSRP is around $112,000, with the expectation that in future sequential years there will be lower price models coming out, going as low as $80,000, which won't happen until 2024. Even when we get to the $80,000 model, it's still going to be quite a bit more expensive than the Hummer H2, which had been around in the mid-2000s. That sold for, on average, $52,000, and it's even more expensive than the Hummer H3, which was their best seller around that same time period, which sold for about $37,000. Needless to say, this is not a mainstream vehicle, nor is it affordable for most people. The purpose behind it is to showcase to the public GM's engineering ability to develop a best-in-class electric truck. While the expectation is that GM will sell these vehicles at a pretty high margin, I don't think the volumes will be substantial enough to really benefit them financially, nor do I think they'll actually fully be able to capture the value they think they will be able to capture. If their previous record with the Hummer brand is any indication, we can see that their best year was in 2006, right before the financial crisis, where they had sold 71,000 units. Certainly not terrible for a niche product like this, except for when you consider the fact that the best-selling model at that time was the H3, which is half the price of the least expensive new Hummer that won't come out for another 3 to 4 years. We must also consider that the less expensive models will be released in the next few years, which will coincide with Rivian's $70,000 truck, and then Tesla's highest end Cybertruck also at $70,000. And of course, if Ford ends up launching a fully electric F-150, which, keep in mind, the F-150 is the best selling truck in America, the space is going to get crowded pretty quickly. It may just be the case that the Hummer is over-engineered and GM won't be able to fully capture the value or margin when these other trucks enter the market at very similar features and performance, or close enough, but at much lower price points. So net of it is, there is reason for excitement as GM is putting their best foot forward when it comes to EV development. And I don't necessarily think that people are looking at this Hummer as a major volume play, but really what it's doing, as I mentioned or alluded to earlier, is that it signals to the public that they are willing to make the investments in this market. Keep in mind though, if you're looking to invest now with the expectation that because GM has announced an iconic brand, now an electric vehicle, that they're going to see their stock price rocket up like Tesla and NIO did, you might be disappointed. That's because GM is a legacy automaker, and there's really not a whole lot that I could think of that would make their stock price go through the roof. But you have to know that Tesla, NIO, and other pure EV makers are valued a very different way. Nonetheless, GM stock, while not without its risks, is worth looking into for other reasons that I'm not going to mention in this video. But the electric Hummer is not going to be one of those reasons, and I wouldn't expect it to yield any significant gains for the company or the stock price in general, especially not in the short term. Folks, let me know down in the comments below what you think of the GM stock and whether or not the announcement of the fully electric Hummer will have an impact on the share price either in the short term or even long term. With that said, thank you for watching, and I'll see you around.